pavement, like memory in a bone. Nothing dramatic about survival, just showing up alone. Time didn't soften the edges, clarified the shade. Lost carved definition without escape. Still standing after what didn't need to be named. No applause, no banner raised, just breath intact, frame unfractured. Still standing after. Some men turn damage into weapons, others into walls. Endurance chooses posture that doesn't fall. No scoreboard tallies resilience, no witness keeps count. The quiet fact of remaining is the account. What didn't break, learn patience. What stayed, learn wait. Survival isn't defiance, it's placement. No bitterness carried forward, no debt collected. Standing is sufficient when it's selected. Endurance doesn't speak, it stays. Still standing after. Still standing. When noise withdrew, what remains solid held true. Let it pass, let it scatter. Still standing after. Still standing. Long after stories simplify and meaning thins, the quiet fact of presence still wins.
That settles different on a man who doesn't move. The ones who speak first really have something to prove. Watch the room full of voices collapse into noise, while I kept my counsel in my hands and my poise. There's a kind of violence in what you choose to hold, not the kind that bleeds, the kind that ages into gold. Every word I swallow builds something in its place. A patience deep as groundwater, a stillness in the face. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. Not the ones who shouted, it's the quiet that they dread. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. Some men burn in fury, I just let it build instead. Anger is a season, discipline is weather. One of them destroys you, one holds you together. I've seen men unravel at the weight of a slice. Spend years on a grievance that was over in a night. I don't carry what I buried, I don't mourn what's past. The things worth keeping are the things built to last. Control is not a weakness in a man who understands that fire uncontrolled consumes everything it commands. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. Not the ones who shouted, it's the quiet that they dread. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. Some men burn in fury, I just let it build instead. They'll ask what I was thinking when the room went cold. Nothing, everything, a story I was never told. There's a kind of armor that no one else can see, built from every moment I chose not to speed. River doesn't argue with the stone in its path. It just moves around it, patient, deep and vast. That's the kind of man I became over time. Not loud enough to echo, but impossible to find. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said. Some men burn in fury, I just let it build instead. The loudest thing in the room is what I never said.
Always remember footsteps, even when eyes don't. Behavior leaves residue, yeah. Noise won't. Character forms privately, away from reward. What's practiced without audience is stored. No witness needed, no frame, no scene, no credit pleaded, no witness needed. Moral weight isn't social, it doesn't trend. It reveals itself eventually at the end. No correction required, no image to keep. The truest standard applied when it's deep. Choices made in isolation define the spine. Integrity doesn't negotiate with time. No validation demanded, no echo pursued. The work stands finished when it's true. What's real doesn't need proof. No witness needed, no applause, no creed. What endures stands unseated. No witness needed. History never records the moment, but it records the result. What was done without audience is difficult to fault.
Long before the monuments and before the praise, there were just the cold mornings and the ordinary days. A man loading stone before the sun broke the hill. No one watching, no applause, just a labor in the will. A legacy is not the plaque they bold beside your name. It's the standard you upheld when nothing was at stake. The way you held the line when no one held their breath. The choices that you made when no reward was left. A man's name outlives him, or it doesn't. That's the word. No one saves a reputation built on shallow words. A man's name outlives him, or it doesn't. That's the word. The river doesn't ask permission, it just carves through the earth. I never chased the room, I never sought the floor. Respect a rise on its own, or it was never yours. Watch men spend a lifetime buying back their name, never understanding that approval is a game. Build what I built without a crowd to see the frame. Every wall still standing, that's a louder kind of claim. The ones who needed witnesses of dust and borrowed light. I just kept on building through the afternoon and night. A man's name outlives him, or it doesn't. That's a word. No one saves a reputation built on shallow word. The man's name outlives him, or it doesn't. That's the word. The river doesn't ask permission, it just carves through the earth. What the river remembers is the shape of what stood, not the noise around it, just the stone and the wood. My grandfather's hand is somewhere in these walls. That's not sentiment, it's how the real legacy falls. The world forgets the loud ones faster than the rest. Monuments to chaos have never stood the test. But a quiet man who built something true and deep, the river carries him long after he's asleep. A man's name outlives him, or it doesn't. That's the word. The river doesn't ask permission, built on shallow. The man's name outlives him, or it doesn't. That's the word. The river doesn't ask permission, it just carves through the earth.
There's a foundation. The wind carries the noise of the desperate, but the mountains keeps on score. The mountain keeps its own score. Didn't break, it learned to hold the cold. need to go. It doesn't shine for the eyes of the many. It waits for the one who knows where to dig. A king who has to say he is a king is just a man wearing a heavy hat. I let the echoes die in the valley. The mountain keeps its own score.
The fog settles on the forgotten road where kings once walked and no one knows. Dust holds the print of every step that time forgot and never will. Empty halls remember better than men what was said and what was kept within. A single breath can bend the air when every other word lays bare. The silence rules where voices fall. The silence rules where voices fall. It bends the steel that loud men call. Silence rules where voices fall. Shadows lengthen without a fight. Claim the day and own the night. No crown is forged from shouting loud. The quiet hand still draws the shroud. Years pass like rivers under stone. They carve their mark and leave alone. What others chase with frantic breath stays here untouched by time or death. The silence rules where voices fall. The silence rules where voices fall. It bends the steel that loud men call. The silence rules where voices fall. Closed fist is a library of what could have been. The ocean is terrified because it is flat. Deep water doesn't need a white cat to prove it's deep. It just waits for the anchor to fall. Anger is a fire that starves the one who lit it. Cleveland is the winter that puts it out. They mistake the lack of a bite for a lack of a bite. But the wolf only looks at the moon when it's full. The wolf only looks at the moon when it's full. The map shows a road, not the weight of the boots. Still is tempered in the dark, away from the cheers. A man who knows his own shadow doesn't fear the sunset. Let them sharpen their tongues on the whetstone of vanity. My blade stays in the sheath, 'cause it is already sharp. Power is the ability to walk away from the north. The wolf only looks at the moon when it's full. Blood stays in the vein where it belongs. The predator doesn't announce the hunger. Control is a house with no windows. I see everything, they see a wall. There is a grace in the no that is never spoken. The fuse is long and the room is quiet. The wind happened before the first step was taken. Restraint is the ultimate form of violence. The wolf only looks at the moon when it's full. Dawn breaks cold on rusted rail lines. Freight cars sleep where ambition once climbed. Steel stays patient beneath the frost, waiting for nothing, never lost. Lightning splits the sky in childish anger. Yet pine stands straight through every danger. They bend only after centuries pass, and even then they do not ask. The sheathed blade carries no stain. The sheathed blade carries no stain. Its edge stays perfect in the vein. The sheathed blade carries no stain. Crowds search forward, chasing thunder. They spend their heat and fall asunder. One shadow lingers at the edge of motion, calm enough to still the ocean. Fists clench, voices rise to breaking. Tempers flare and then start aching.
stays unscarred. There's power written in what it never
The sheathed blade carries no stain. The sheathed blade carries no stain. Its edge stays perfect in the vein. The sheathed blade carries no stain. Winter holds a valley without mercy, yet every seed beneath still trusts its journey. Restraint is not the absence of fire, it is the choice to burn in time. The sheathed blade carries no stain. 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 Foundations don't announce themselves, they settle slowly beneath surface, calm metal. Attention chases motion, but structure prefers time. What lasts avoided spectacle by design. Built without noise, without show, without choice, built without noise. No rush, rewarded permanence. No speed, secure trust. Progress measured carefully in dust. The loudest phases were skipped on purpose. Silence, concentrated effort and surface. Consistency outperformed urgency every day. What seemed invisible accumulated anyway. No interruption required, no hype supplied. Only presence repeated until it applied, but without noise. No campaign, no voice. What remains was the choice, built without noise. Built without noise. Long after attention relocates and trends decay, only substance occupies the space they vacate. Built without noise, without show, without choice, built without noise.
The oak doesn't know it's becoming timber. It just grows through every frost and winter. No ambition, just a slow, relentless claim of roots that go deeper every time it rains. That's what discipline looks like from the outside. Unremarkable, unrushed, impossible to guide a man who is committed to a long, deliberate pace. Doesn't flinch at setbacks, he just holds his place. Slow things outlast the fast. That's not patience, that's power. The candle that burns steady outlives the flame that devours. Slow things outlast the fast. That's not patience, that's power. I've been building in the dark. Watch me in the final hour. See men sprint toward everything and arrive at nothing. Confusing speed for progress, motion for becoming. I don't move unless the movement means something real. Every step deliberate, every choice is sealed. The ones who burned out early wore the fire like a crown. Bright enough to notice, then too hollow to hold ground. I kept to the discipline, long after the reward. That's not sacrifice, that's how the slow ones move forward. Slow things outlast the fast. That's not patience, that's power. The candle that burns steady outlives the flame that devours. Slow things outlast the fast. That's not patience, that's power. I've been building in the dark. Watch me in the final hour. Nobody sees the years before the moment. Nobody counts the reps inside the silence. The work was never meant for an audience. The work was always just between me and time. Iron is restored until it meets the fire and the hammer. A man is just potential in the hands of his own standard. I forge what I am in the quiet where it counts. Not for the result alone, but for what the process amounts. Slow things outlast the fast. That's not patience, that's power. I've been building in the dark. Watch me in the final hour. Slow things outlast the fast. That's not patience, that's power.
Questions gather at crossroads, expecting debate, but certainty arrives early and waits. Some paths close automatically without regret. Decision removes hesitation before it's met. Already decided, no pause, no divide. What moves forward was already decided. Conviction doesn't rehearse itself, it settles. Once chosen, the noise loses leverage and metal. No argument necessary, no counterweight. Resolve carries direction at weight. When certain Certainty forms quietly, distraction dissolves. Energy reallocates cleanly without stalls. No second guess required, no backward scan. Movement simplifies the plan. Decision precedes motion, already decided. No plea, no pride. What remains aligned was already decided. Long after alternatives fade, endowed with draws, only one direction remains, because it was chosen before. Room settled before decision, ethic with possibility. Stillness studies every angle without apology. Momentum waits for alignment, not impulse, not spark. Action chosen prematurely always leaves a mark. Pressure leans in, timing leans back. Nothing moves first until it's right. Pressure can wait, the timing decide. Let it shake, let it thirst. Nothing moves first. Patience isn't hesitation, it's filtration. Removing noise from outcome through observation. Every urge gets weighed, not indulged. Every instinct questioned and dulled. Nothing moves first, no exception made. Urgency speaks loudly, accuracy doesn't speak. Stillness watches patterns while panic leaks. The hand stays steady, the eye stays wide. Nothing forced open, nothing denied. Stillness selects what survives motion. Nothing moves first until it must. Speed is borrowed, control is trust. Let them burst, let them thirst. Nothing moves first, nothing moves first, nothing moves first, nothing moves first.
Every road charges interest, eventually collected. Avoidance compounds quietly until corrected. No ledger kept in public, no witness name. The balance tilts internally, all the same. The debt was paid. boss announce themselves some way. Time collects quietly at the gate. Shortcuts promise relief, then charge double. What was skipped returns as trouble. The debt was paid, no applause, no applause, no applause, no receipts required, no crowd informed. The balance restored internally and gone. Completion doesn't celebrate, it exhales. Nothing hold forward, nothing fails. Clean accounts don't echo, they settle. Delay. No disguise, no parade. The books close, the mind stay. The debt was paid.